Cosmology of Change and Movement, Part 6. So let's follow on from what I was mentioning about the acronyms. So we had the red concept: receive, emit. Considering two dots, two agents of being interacting with each other. So to say, they spread and become spheres or circles of influence. We can, considering the directions, we can come closer, facing each other, come closer at an angle. We can come, like we can get further away, and same in a line, at angles, and later they can use many different pathways. They can go in an arc, in waves, in spirals, or reverse spirals, and so on. These relationships will give us a couple of basic situations we face in martial arts or everyday life. Two agents of being get closer and face each other. They oppose. Ops signifies in front or both. So they're posted in front of each other. You can say also that they confront. It doesn't have to mean that you have a conflict. Conflict means like hurting or affligating some. So confrontation is two things are standing in front of each other. Conflict, they start trading blows, verbally, physically, anything. So now, if one comes forward and the other goes back, they're harmonizing their move. If they maintain the distance, they keep exactly the same relationship. So this would be harmonizing movements. If one stays put and the other gets closer, you'll have reducing of the distance, and you'll say that one submits to the other. Submits here means only that one is acting and the other not. But you can have a few different situations. One can stay static, but put the intent against the other. And there you'd call it resistance. You can resist the push. I didn't try to go forward, but I held my ground. And when the cavalry or something goes there, I tried to stand my ground. So this is resistance. If something is in front coming towards me and I go towards it, I attack it. I oppose it directly. You can even picture something where the first point is thinking about attacking and you start to preemptively attack. So this would be called preemptive attacks. So now the other options are: one is coming closer, the other one is running away very fast in whichever direction, changing the relative speed so that the distance is further and further away, or putting obstacles in between. So the idea is to cut or at least stretch the relationship. So this relates to the strategy of fleeing. This strategy can be fleeing would be removing oneself completely from the theater of interactions. It can also be a feint. It can also be a way of going from one distance to another one. So you have short-range fighters coming in, and you have archers there. And the archers, if they have a mean to be covered by someone, could make ground, go further away to make use of the advantage they have in reach with long-distance weapons. And the same would apply in martial arts. The same would apply for many other applications. So that would cover the first beginning. Now, what we saw too was what relates to these relative movements of things that are tied together. They're connected together. So two dots, two units of being connected together that go further away. They're stretching their bond. Or in the specific terms that I use, you say they tense. Then it's the exact same thing as a guitar string. One side can be stuck, and the other one going away, or both sides can be going away at the same time. So this is creating a tension. If I stretch the tension too much, when I stretch it, I'm increasing the density inside the string there. Past the point, it will go from elastic deformation to plastic deformation, and then it will go to the first tearing point, so partly tearing the fibers, and then it will go to the rupture point where what was linked is separated in two parts with no links whatsoever in between. So apart from this, so the concept of using the body or using anything, using your perception, using your mind as an elastic component that you can stretch, retract, spread, brings us to this concept of tuning oneself. Tuning oneself is used in musicology by the actual use of tuning forks, where you use very, very fast oscillations to influence, to entrain all parts of the body via the sound waves, which are basically rhythmic pushes. The same concept can be applied for anything. You can tune yourself to any situation. Another way of saying this, in French, you'd have a few words you could use. You can accord yourself, vous accorder. It's one translation for tune yourself. An accord is an agreement too. You can harmonize, and harmonize refers also to what happens in an orchestra. You can tune one string to a particular sound that you want to have. If you want to tune your instruments, you must tune the strings together. If you want to tune an orchestra, you must tune the instrument together and then tune them to the acoustics of a room, tune them to the mood of the people watching. And before that, you would have decided the actual tuning depending on the piece of music you want to play or the mood you want to elicit. So this tuning idea is a major concept. It took me a while to figure it out. You do not arrive in a situation that requires very sharp, fast moves with a completely relaxed and floppy body. Just because the time to transmit your waves into this medium will be too long compared to the time you'll have. So you tune your body first as strings. You take picture string, the common string used to picture the vertebral column can be tuned by stretching at the upper level, like you stretch the fontanelle, the bones that link during youth. You stretch there, or you stretch by the coccyx. So it's either you stretch by the coccyx to the end of a vertebral column, or you can stretch from the center. And when you stretch from the center, depending on your posture, then you can stretch the perineal area. But the idea will be exactly the same anyhow. So you stretch a string. If you stretch it too much, it's the same happens. That would happen if you stretch too much. You stretch your guitar string too much. It changes completely the way it can be played. So if you have a very loose string, you'll have to make, say, you have a string like this, and I try to play it. I need to make a big movement to have any sound. If the string is very tight, and I try to play a big movement, either I get stuck or I end up breaking the chord. So when I play a very taut string, I need to use sharp and fast moves. When I play a very loose string, I need to make big movements. This is a very common problem you find between training in martial arts and practical applications. But it's the same problem you'll find if you arrive entirely relaxed from a day at the beach, and all of a sudden you're assaulted by thousands preoccupations, thousands mental stimulations and whatnot. You need to tune at least the outer body or the mind to the task at hand. And this tuning can be done in one direction. So in one dimension, you tune strings. And you can tune strings. You can tune your arms and smaller ropes at the ends, fingers, legs. All the limbs can be tuned as strings. You can tune what's called the lateral column, going from the shoulder nest to the crease of the inguinal fold, and then to the feet. These two lateral columns are the actual supporting column of the body. What we call the column supports only the head. And same if you stretch your hands and spread your feet in an X shape, then the columns would go diagonally. And from tuning lines, strings, you go to tuning two lines at 90 degrees, you tune planes, surfaces, and then you add another 90-degree angle, and then you tune volumes. Tuning volumes can be done in many ways, and it's what you do if you inflate a tire balloon.